Yeah, going live, so we're waiting. Hi, everyone. My name is Vernita Howard. I am the founder of SWAT, which is Survivors with a Testimony, bringing awareness virtually from my table, her table to your table, spreading awareness on what healthy versus unhealthy relationships look like. Just to give you a little info, a little bio about me, who I am, and what I do. I am an author of Pain to Powerful, a Queen's Journal, and a King's Handbook. I am a wife. I am a mother. I am a grandmother. I'm a certified life coach, certified bridal consultant, certified event planner. But the best title I hold is being a child of the King. I am a minister, but I also love advocating on domestic violence. So I have with me today Shandy, and she's just going to give you a short bio of who she is and what she does.
Thank you, Vernita. Um, my name is Shandy, and my bio is not going to be as extensive and as powerful as Miss Howard's, but I am a wife and I am a mother of two teenage boys. I have been in my career for the past 10 years, and I am very much a homebody. Um, I'm just all about family and doing everything I can to edify my husband and my children. Um, and when I'm not working, I'm at home relaxing. About it for me.
All right, Shandy. For some reason, it's going in and out. Um, so we're gonna go. We're gonna jump right into it. Um, Hopefully, our viewers can, really hear us and know that tonight is the night that we're going to talk about healthy relationships, unhealthy relationships.
I think we are having technical difficulties.
We are, for some reason, whatever this
She's
show is
coming
going to be
back.
about. I'm sorry, guys. We're having technical difficulties for whatever reason. Um,
Okay, you're back.
we're going to get into the nitty gritty of this. But so, Shandy, can you talk to our guests and tell them what a healthy relationship is?
Well, um, I'm not by far a professional, licensed professional or anything as far as marriages goes or relationship goes or anything like that. But I have experienced my share of relationships in my lifetime. And I would have to say that my husband today has actually shown me and taught me what a healthy relationship should look like. Um, I wouldn't say that I've been in um, abusive relationships in the past, but they definitely were not healthy. And my current relationship or my marriage is showing me that a healthy relationship is one where you are both giving. It's never a one sided situation. It should always be you focusing on, in my opinion, the needs of your spouse, and vice versa. They will be focusing on your needs. And it looks like we lost Bernita again. Uh oh.
Okay, guys. For some reason, we keep getting kicked out, but I did hear a majority of what you said. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, guys. Okay, so again, hopefully you guys will stay on a little bit more steadier. Um, trying to have the laptop up and do everything we need to do, but nevertheless, we're gonna get into it. So I know Shandy was just telling you guys a little bit about what a healthy relationship is. Can you hear me, Shandy?
I can hear you just fine. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we're gonna talk about behaviors of a well, before we get into the behaviors, we're gonna talk about what an unhealthy well, I'm gonna talk a little bit about what an unhealthy relationship is and how it can affect anyone that's in it. So we often, our organization is about domestic violence, and as I was telling Shandy when we was backstage or you know entering into the broadcast, we always talk about what domestic violence is, and how it affects others. But when do you ever talk about what a healthy relationship is? Some people don't even realize that they're in an unhealthy or a toxic relationship. And as she stated, she gave you guys some good corners on what a healthy relationship is. But if I was to ask the audience today, do you really know what an unhealthy relationship is? Um, you know, with an unhealthy relationship, you're dealing with um, trust issues, someone who is being disrespectful, they may be physically abusive, they may have control issues, they like to humiliate you, isolate you, and they're unpredictable. You never know how they're going to react to anything. And the reason we talk about that is because domestic violence, if you ever spoke to a person like myself who's a survivor, who's been through domestic violence, they'll tell you like power and control is one of the key things that a survivor has went through. Um, being isolated, always feeling like you're under peer pressure, those are unhealthy relationships. You shouldn't at any time have to feel that way. If you cannot be yourself with the person that you're with, you don't need to be with that person. So we're gonna go into a little deep. A lot of times we hear people say, well, he loves me. As soon as I walk out the door, girl, he's calling me. I can't do anything. I can't be with my friends. He always got to call and check on me. Do you really think that's a healthy relationship?
Mm, I can see why people will see it both ways, honestly. I can see why they would see it both ways. But it depends on, in my opinion, it depends on that person's character, what their intent is. If they are already a controlling or negative person, then no, that's not healthy behavior. But you have those love sick people who get struck by Cupid's bow, and and it's early on now. I don't see that happening 5, 10 years down the road, but in the very beginning, I will say I can see it being both.
Right. And I can. But if we've been together 5, 10 years and I walk out the door and you calling me, asking me what am I doing, why I'm doing this,
Oh
that's
no.
not love.
That's
Because
control.
by now we should be able to establish a relationship where the communication is open. So if I tell you I'm going somewhere, you don't have to call and check and say, as soon as I
Right.
walk out the door, are you sure you're going there? No,
Right.
that's not healthy.
Yeah.
Not at any state, and you can kind of watch a person's behavior, and if their behavior is off key, those are things to pay attention to.
hmm It's one of those.
Um,
It's the red flags, but most people don't see them until it's too late. right? And then
Right,
look back at it.
right. So, and some of the red flags, and since we're talking about it, so if I've been away a week, and for me being married, if I've been away a week, yeah, one of our viewers said trust issues. That's a big thing with the unhealthy and toxic relationship. But there's been times like with jobs and different trainings, I have to go a week or whatever. And I'll call my husband and be like, hey, where you at? I'm on my way home. Um, because I'm really ready to see him.
Right.
But um, if he walks out the door and then 2 minutes later I'm calling him, where you at? Probably downstairs getting in his car, Um, so we have to be sometimes, the control, or if you're gone 5 minutes, and they whining, oh, I'm ready for you to come back. I want you to come back to the house. You shouldn't have left.
Yeah,
We
that's a
need
bit
balance.
much.
Yeah, that is definitely a bit much. Um, some of the things that we're going to talk about tonight is like the behaviors when it comes. Yeah, Adrian, one of our viewers said we don't want to see like the signs. We don't want to see those signs. We want to think that that is love. And that's the issue. Sometimes the signs are right there. And then when they spiral completely out of control, and the abuse happen, it's like, oh, well, I didn't see it. Most of the time we see it, we just try to overlook it.
Gotcha. Gotcha. But then
So,
I think it also goes back to what you said in the beginning, whereas if you don't know the difference, you may not overlook it. You just may not even know. It just may be your first time experiencing that, and you haven't witnessed anyone go through anything toxic, and you really just don't know. But this is good. This is a good forum, so they're aware of the red flags before it's too late.
right. So when I looked up, I want to kind of talk about like the healthy and unhealthy behavior. And I know you researched some stuff as well. When I looked up like the healthy behavior, like your partner will give you space. They'll give you freedom, you know, in your relationship. Um, they support you. They they have your back. But then when you think of like the unhealthy behavior, it's like intensity. It's like you can't be yourself. Um, some of the signs is like a person rushing into a relationship with you, rushing into saying, I love you. Um, wanting to spend all their time with you. Like you have no space, you have no freedom for anything else. You are just, they want to be like your magnet. It's almost like as soon as you walk out of work, they want you to be right there with them, or, and in some instances, they don't want you to work so they can keep an eye on you. And that's
Mm-hmm.
not healthy.
Not at all. No.
Do you want to elaborate?
Um, yeah, I would say also healthy traits would be someone who encourages you. They want to know more about your interests. They actually take an interest in you. They're not trying to change you into someone. They actually appreciate who you are and what you brought to the table, and they want to help nurture that. Um, Anyone who is overly critical of everything you say, everything you do, everything you wear. That's not healthy. That's toxic. Because
Very.
at the end of the day, that's just breaking down your spirit. And eventually you're going to become almost like a puppet of theirs because they have completely destroyed who you are at your core. So they can build you back up for who they want you to be and what they want you to do. So never lose yourself in a person.
That right there is really good information. because once you lose yourself in them, they have complete control.
Yeah.
And that's not good at all. That is really not good.
Right.
Um, Another thing is we're gonna talk about um put downs and respect. Because some people get that confused. They get well, he don't do things in front of me, so he do respect me. But if I don't do what he want me to do, sometimes he may belittle me. Sometimes he makes me feel little. He just, but then on his good days,
Mm.
or on her good days, because I don't want this to be one sided. Because and with me, I keep it real. Some
Right.
women, their verbalization of things can be very crucial. Women have a way of putting people down.
Mm.
They have a way of using words. And so I'm not a one-sided person. I keep this 100, and sometimes that's why, like on my broadcast, they be like, "Whoa!" Like with domestic violence, it's not a one-sided thing. That's why I have my show talking to the men, letting them know, look, it's okay. Put your ego to the side, get help. Because I know as a woman, I can tear you up with words if
Yeah.
I chose to, you know.
Yeah.
And, we have strong women out working now, making more than
More
the
than
men.
the
And so, sometimes they look at them like, yo, bro, you can't tell me what to do. I make more than you. They could tear them up, and it's unhealthy.
it is.
um we have to think like, you want that man to be supportive to you. You want him to trust you. You want him to treat you like a queen. But if you're tearing him down, you putting him down, your tongue can be lethal. It can destroy everything that he's trying to build with you. Now vice versa, it could go the same way with a man. That I've been there, like, and that's why I'm the person that I am. Like, I'm gonna voice my opinion because I've been that person that was isolated from my family, that was put down. Nobody's gonna want you, and that's one of the key things that they like to say, especially once they start, getting your body out of shape, when they start impregnating you and all of that.
Feed you.
Nobody's gonna want you. You know, um, it ain't like your shape is this. Those are considered put downs. If they can't value who you are, it's unhealthy. But if they value who you are, they lift you up when you're down, baby. That's the
Yeah,
type of fella, or that's the type of woman that you want to be with.
most definitely. And can I add to that? Um, One of the most unhealthy things a person can do in a relationship is to come into it broken, to not be whole. You have
Hmm.
to find yourself first, because you could destroy a good man or a good woman coming into it broken, busted and disgusted. Everybody is the enemy. um and I can speak from example, because like you, I'm very direct, straightforward. This is my life. It is what it is. Prior to meeting my husband, I had failed relationship after failed relationship after failed relationship, and I finally came to the terms that, you know what, I need to be happy with me. If I end up by myself forever, I need to be happy with me, because that's all I'm gonna have. And the minute I came to terms with that within myself, God knows when you're really
Hmm.
sincere about something. And when I really came to terms with that, when I say my husband fell in my lap, fell right in my lap. Okay, he found me. And I will say that he's had to put up with a lot, because I did not do the work in myself first.
Hmm.
I had come to terms with the, being by myself, but I hadn't done the work. And, marriage is just a mirror. It's only going to show you every ugly piece of you that you didn't know existed, that you tried to hide in the whole 9 yards. And
Exactly.
you either stand in front of that thing and you face it head on and fix it, or you're gonna ruin not only you but your other half. And that's
Exactly.
not okay.
No. And listen, I tell women all the time, and I tell men this too. Um, if you're broken, you can't love a person because you're not loving yourself whole.
Right.
Um, when you're able to look at in that mirror and say, you know what, I truly love her or I truly love him,
Mm-hmm.
and you can say it without the but this, but that. But listen, women, we are so used to being nurturers that we feel that, hey, I'm gonna go, I know what she said, but I'm gonna fix it. You can't fix anything that don't want to be broke. I mean, that's it. If a person don't want to be fixed, you can't fix it.
Right.
It's like saying, hey, I'm gonna put this mirror here that's broken, that's shattered. And when I come back, I expect it to be together.
Right.
No, it's
Right.
the same thing. And I learned from myself, like when I was introduced to domestic violence from my first husband, right? Um, from that point on, I started only being attracted to abusers.
Mm. Mm.
It was something about them that it seemed like everything was perfect. And then boom. But guess what? I was just trying to fill a void. I didn't want to be by myself.
Right.
And that
Right.
was so unhealthy. I was busy just trying to fix a need than to fix V.
That's right. Mm.
So once I would get into it, and I was the one that wanted to move fast because I did not want to be by myself.
Right.
And it was so unhealthy. I
It
didn't
is.
understand what was going on. And that's why it's so important that we have these talks. Because if we look in our communities and we look at a lot of the young ladies, their thing is, well, at least he come home at night.
No.
If he's just coming home, he's not having a conversation with you. He just going there taking a shower. Bro, where you been?
Right. Right.
So that's not healthy either. Or when you're having a conversation, he's putting you down or you're putting him down. That's not healthy.
Mm-mm.
But if that's all you can do is belittle someone, embarrass them, or bully them, take a look at yourself. Get you a mirror and look at yourself.
Right. And you have to be careful to watch those that try to mask it as humor, as a joke. I would never, for instance, look at my child and say, "Oh, you ugly." That's not funny. That's not a joke. I don't need you believing any part of that. And so there's certain boundaries you don't cross. And, it's just like, you wouldn't say certain things to a pastor or to your boss. So have the same level of respect for the person that you think you want to be with for the rest of your life. Because like you said, words hurt, and that's something that you can't take back. I mean, once it's out there, okay? And it
Mm-hmm.
permeates the person's soul. You know, I was just talking to a friend of mine at work the other day about relationships, and she mentioned how something she had said to her boyfriend 4 years ago is still bothering him today. A male ego is fragile. Um, and we have to just be careful that the things that we may be able to take or the things that we may be able to handle, another person may not. So
Exactly.
yeah.
And just to make it clear, people understand what respect is. Aretha Franklin, what she say, RESPECT,
Okay,
but
put some respect on it.
on it. That's right. So, if you need a definition of what respect is, it's when a person admires the
Mm,
good qualities and abilities about you and shares it freely.
mm.
Okay. So we want people to know, um, we can laugh, we can joke, but respect is something that's valuable to another person.
Right.
Um, if you can't respect them, leave them alone. If you have no respect for them, leave them alone.
True.
You know, you don't have a right to destroy anyone, and they don't have a right to destroy you.
Right. And I don't know if I'm going off topic because I know we have certain bullet points to reach, but just to make sure that, someone who's out there who may have dealt with toxic relationships in the past or maybe in one now and not know it, you have to pay attention to that person. I mean, you have to really study a person. It's not just how they treat you. How do they treat the wait staff at the restaurant? How do they treat their family? How do they treat their friends? How do they treat the janitor in the hallway? You know what I mean? Because that's a
Mhm.
direct reflection of how they're going to treat you at the end of the day.
Exactly. Do they compliment you?
Mm-hmm.
Do
Mm-hmm.
they support you? If you tell them about your dreams and how you want, are they going to support you? Or are they going to tell you it's dumb? I don't understand why
Right.
you want to do that. You know, if somebody's bullying you, are they going to stick up for you? Are they going to be there when you come in down? Are they going to be there to lift you up?
Right.
If you
Right.
come in down and they tear you down more, go, baby, get out of there. It's time to go. You don't need to be put down, but what you need to be is respected. You need to be loved. And the put downs can be harmful because you never know the state of mind the person in is in that you're putting down. If I'm going through something and you right, one of the viewers said, but sometimes you can be with a person for years and still don't know them. You're right. Um
That's true, but I've never found myself in that situation. Because I'm one of those that I don't wait around for long, to see how much worse it can get. It's just never been me. Um, but I think it has a lot to do with just not paying it. I wouldn't say not paying attention, but just being more aware.
mhm.
It's sometimes it's those little things that you really got to pay attention to. Um, because like Benita said, I mean, joking here and there, you think it's cute, but at the end of the day, they're trying to take away your self-esteem. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? You are beautiful, no matter what shape, size, color you are. You're beautiful.
Mhm.
God doesn't make mistakes. Okay. And so if you have a man or a woman who's constantly tearing you down but trying to cover it up as a joke, you need to pay attention to those things. Because what person who loves you would even to have those thoughts, let alone to say them out loud?
And just in case people don't understand, it's not physical abuse when they're doing it, but it is emotional abuse because then you begin to think about it. You begin to say, well, what is it about me? What can I fix about me? Um,
Right.
you know, um, Emotional abuse has a harmful impact on how you view yourself. It can also have an impact on how you view others that genuinely care about you. So if a person do not respect you, if they only want to put you down, guess what? It's okay to end that friendship. It's so no matter. See, sometimes we say, "Well, I've been friends with them so long. This is just how they are." No, that's not how they are. It's
Mm.
time to say, "Look, let's just cut ties." You know, um, your mental state of being is important. So you should be important to you to just walk away and say, look, I'm not going to do this. I value me. I value our friendship enough to say, we ain't friends. I'm going to get country with it. We ain't friends. When you got to constantly put me down, when you have no respect, for me, it's
Mm-hmm.
time to let go.
Mm-hmm.
Our season is up. And that's how we have to look at it. Anything that costs you your peace, let it be peace and be gone.
That's true.
And
That's
that's how I look at things. I used to say all the time, like, I don't know why I don't have a lot of friends. I don't know why I don't put up with this. I don't know why I don't put up with it. Is because I value Vernita.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's hard to let go. I was that person. But you know what? After a while, you just have to again get that mirror, look in it, and say, look, I gotta take care of me. This ain't healthy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if it ain't healthy now, eventually it's gonna turn toxic.
Right.
And when it turns toxic, there are gonna be all forms of abuse that you're gonna go through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We can't fix everybody.
Right.
Some people are in our life for a season and some is for a reason. Once it's up, let it go.
Ain't that the truth?
So Adrian, okay, so her thing, she says maybe for stability, financial, so forth and so forth. I was that person.
Mm.
I did not realize that when I walked out of my first marriage, I wasn't broke. Okay. My story is completely different than everybody, a lot of people. I had been in several car accidents, so there was money in the bank, but I worked, I was given an allowance, and you're right. A lot of people stay in relationships for financial well-being.
Mm.
I never forget the day that I walked into Bank of America, and the lady said, "Well, you have two accounts, baby." I didn't even understand what the first account was for because I got my allowance. I mean, and so that's from that day on, I said to myself, I got to learn how to do this. I thought it was cute, the man paying the bills. I thought it was cute, the man giving me money, or whatever. I didn't realize the damage that was there because the control that was there. Um, Even when I worked, like literally, I got $250 a month. I was good. My bills was paid, but even out of that, I had to get makeup from where I was going to be abused. That was like part of the bills. And I don't know if you guys know, but I couldn't use everything on my face. So that was even expensive. I didn't look at it that way. But I'll say to anybody who's with somebody just because of the financial stability, let part of your plan be to get on your feet. To, if you're not working, look for a job. Even if it's something that you have to, if it's McDonald's, flipping burgers, guess what? Having some money is better than having no money at all. You can make moves if you have a little bit of something. And that's where a lot of manipulators take control. They make you think, oh, I love you, baby. You don't have to work. Look at your friends. They got to get out. They got to work. Guess what? She might got some freedom. That's why she out working.
Yeah. But can I say this also in regards to Adrian's comment? Um, like Vanita said, if you have a job, save some money, mad money as they call it or what have you. If you don't have a job, can't get a job, there may be government programs that can assist you to help you get on your feet. But what it all boils down to, in my opinion, is stop being silent. Stop being ashamed to go to someone and ask for help. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We all need help. I don't care who you are, how wealthy you are, whatever you got going on in your life. There's something that we all need help with. And I think a lot of us grew up with those mentalities from our family of what happens in the house stays in the house.
I hate that saying.
Right. Because it's a very fine line to that statement. Okay. If I'm being abused, mentally, physically, emotionally, or what have you, that's not something to keep quiet. Okay, because nobody can help you because they don't know you need the help because you've become a master at covering it up. And
Exactly.
you're ashamed, and maybe it's a personality thing, but I'm never too ashamed to ask for help when I need help. And that's something I think we need to start being more comfortable with, is opening up enough to be vulnerable, and you could possibly run into that person who actually can help you get out of that situation. But we got to stop being silent, because your abuser can use that and does use your silence against you because they know you're not going to say anything to anybody. You have to take
Exactly.
away that power from them.
Yep. And I agree with you 100%. You know, your abuser knows how to manipulate you to believe that they're the only one that cares.
Hmm. Or nobody's gonna believe you.
Nobody's gonna believe you.
Well,
Listen, man, a manipulator wears many, many masks. You think that you're wearing a mask because you're covering up everything that he or she has done to you. They're wearing a mask because when they go around, they want people to see them as this perfect being, how loving they can be. No, we have to dig deeper, especially when we notice a friend that's been isolated, a person that's bubbly, is down all the time, um, a person that was constantly, going and, being there, they was the life of the party. Now, you barely can talk to them. That it's always an excuse when you call. Um, oh, I was asleep, or oh, me and Johnny was out, or well, Susie don't like me to answer the phone when we out doing things together. It was never an issue before. So
right.
those are some of the signs that we can look for. Um, and especially with this pandemic going on, people have a way of covering up things, and you think, you know, um, they was going through things before, and now that people don't really want you to visit. Oh, he don't want you to come over, or Sheila just don't want people in the house. We scared COVID, but you're at the mall, you're at church, you're here, you're there. Come on.
Yeah.
Why this week nobody can come over, but last week I see y'all at the mall.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
So
Mhm. No, you're right. I was just gonna say I think they just need to, but I don't know because I've never been in a physically abusive relationship. Thank God. And I don't want to be one of those people who try to give advice on a situation they've never been in. Okay. Um, if you're in a situation already, number one, I pray for you. Um, and number two, hopefully these types of forums will be shared and will be spread, because if it reaches one person and saves one person, that's a
mm-hmm,
start. That's the mission. Um,
exactly.
but I think a lot of it is going to go back to how much you value yourself, because once you've had enough, and you're not going to take anymore. And you're willing to lose it all or let it all go, start over from scratch. You're willing to do that because you realize your worth, you realize your value at that point, and you're not going to settle for anything less, and you're willing to start over. So I think a lot of it starts with, within yourself first. True.
Yeah. And as a survivor, so I'm going to state this, so people can understand. And then we're going to respond to one of the viewers. But as a survivor, I can honestly say, until the day that I walked into the bank, We had the sheriff to come out to our home several times, and it was so bad that they knew. Um, and so I will still go back. I will still go back, because I was thinking, I really wanted to. So I'm gonna say to young girls, don't ever mirror anybody else's relationship.
Right.
I wanted what my parents had. And we come out of a loving home. I wanted my children to feel that. I wanted them to feel like having a mom and a dad in the house. I wanted them to know what it was to grow up with your dad. And so, I put up with a lot. Um, and you know, as we said earlier, one of the statements was what goes on in our household, stay in our household. So stop teaching your children that. Because if you've been abused, you want them to say something. Them being vocal can save your life. For me, I watched my daughter, like literally, guys, my daughter has seizures so bad that I couldn't even work.
Mm.
I would get a job and we was constantly from Chapel Hill to Durham, all over. And when to watch her be limp to the body from having seizures, it wasn't fair to her. And I never forget when the doctor asked, like, what were you doing? Like, what was she doing? So, we would put it on, oh, it's the heat, she got, heat over heated or whatever. But I remember this one time being in Chapel Hill and um her dad called and we went in tit for tat and she started going into it.
Mm.
My daughter would have seizures to the point where she was staring into space. So it was petite mal seizures. But when she would come out, that's when we was realized what was going on. And this doctor said to me, if y'all can't get it together, I'm gonna put her somewhere
Mm.
where she's gonna feel the love. She's gonna, this is unhealthy. Like, you guys are going tit for tat. I was trying to explain to him what the doctor was saying to me, and he was asking me questions. And so I was getting frustrated, and I'm not gonna put it all on him. That's the thing about me now. I'm not gonna put it all on him because when I get frustrated, I'm frustrated. And we was going tit for tat, and I don't like people to overtalk me. So the louder he got, the louder I got. So until that doctor said what he said, you're talking about taking my child away from me? Nah. So then I realized some of this is coming from this. Your children know when you're in a healthy state. Your children know when you're in an unhealthy state. So I said all that to say this. Don't allow your situation to cause sickness to your own children. Don't allow your situation to cause your children to be unhealthy.
Most definitely. That's where you cut it at the root because that's exactly what I was going to say. You led right into it. At some point, it can get better if you teach that to your children and they teach that to their children and so forth and so forth. And, a lot of us just didn't have that growing up. I have a very loving father. But my father and mother weren't together for my whole life. So I didn't know what a marriage or relationship was supposed to look like. But I knew what a good man was because of my father. But we also have to be careful with that too, like you said, trying to mimic
Mhm.
or copy what you think is good. Because at the end of the day, my father is a good father. I don't know him as a husband. So
Right.
I can't say I want someone like my father because I don't know him in that manner. And that's why it's important to not copy what you see because what you see is possibly just what you need to see, not what that whole person consists of. And we have to be super careful about picking people based on, trying to get what someone else has, because you don't know that full person.
Exactly. Tina Gordon says it's rooted and buried deep within when someone accepts the abuse looking for love in the wrong places. And the abuser is broken. That's why they hurt you, but it is never okay to stay in a physical, verbal, or mental relationship. It is it's never anything that's unhealthy, whether it's because when we say verbal, we're thinking that they're being vocal about it, but there's also nonverbal abuse where they don't even talk to you, but their body
Mm.
language, I'm saying a lot of times in marriages, um and people don't see it, they're sexually abused, because even if I say no and you still take it, you abused me, you took it. No means no, no matter what you think that that title holds. If I say no, this is my body, or if he say no, stop,
Hmm.
because that's sexual. So no matter psychological, doing things that really mess with a person's mental state of being, if it's unhealthy, develop a safety plan and get out of there. you know a lot of times when we're talking about unhealthy relationships, people are dealing with anger. um they have anger issues. I remember, like, when I would press charges against my first husband, they sent him to anger management. What was that supposed to do? Like, I- that didn't help. It just escalated, like, he went, but he didn't use the techniques that they gave him.
Hmm.
So, Shandy, can you tell the people what anger is? And then we're going to go into a little more.
Um, I think anger is a lack of control. It's that person having or lacking in control. And you become frustrated to the point where you lash out. You have not yet tapped into the many of other emotions that God has blessed us all with. You're so accustomed to dealing with one emotion, and you're not comfortable enough with yourself to tap into sadness, tap into joy, tap into whatever the many other emotions that a human can go through. And then the most common one that people revert back to is going to be anger when they're frustrated. And a lot of times, I think when people are angry like that, if they actually have a chance to talk to someone to actually get it out, you'll find that they have their own issues that weren't dealt with in the past. They may not have felt heard in the past, maybe growing up or whatever the case may be, and now this is the only way they know how to be heard. Because we all know that anger is one of the emotions that most people are going to react to, whether it's positive or negative, right? Because if someone tells you that they're sad, or if someone cries, be able to ignore that. You may be able to overlook that. Oh, you need to stop crying. It's not that serious. But when somebody's angry and they lash out, everybody pays attention to that.
Exactly. Um, so when I was doing, like, research on it or whatever, and it took me back, I thought about, you know, how my relationship was. I felt like I was walking on eggshells. Like, it was so unhealthy. Um, when he got mad, of course, he would hit me, destroy things in the home. It- You know, I even lost a child through all of it.
Mm.
And so now having this organization, my son, this is my son's voice. you know um one of my poems is like, I talk, and from my son to me, like, you know, I witnessed this, even though you was carrying me, I witnessed this, you know, you not being able to see me grow, um, you not being able to see me grow, you not being able to, hold me, they're taking me away, you know, and so the abuse was like horrible. But again, when we talk about being in a healthy state and a healthy state of mind, you have to love you.
Exactly.
You have to love you. And when I think about like that anger and you know, when a person is enraged, they make you feel like it's your fault. But their rage has nothing to technically do with you. Now, will I say that sometimes we could egg people on with our words? Because I'm a vocal person, I would keep talking. And like the more I would talk, but it still never gave him the right
Right.
to hit me.
Right.
Hey G, how are you?
Good. I thought we was doing this at 7 o'clock.
It is 7. Oh, you're on a different time zone than we are. Sorry. You
No.
fine, but we still into it.
Okay.
All
All right. I
right,
didn't
so
remember where you was located. I apologize.
that's fine. I'm sorry. But we're talking about anger and how it like the unhealthy aspects of anger and how it can lead to domestic violence. So we was just talking about, Shandy had, shared with the viewers, what anger was, and I was sharing like some of my story. But let me ask you something from a male's point of view. Um, when we talk about anger and how people react, how can, instead of a person acting in anger, what is like a healthy communication? What does healthy communication look like?
You know, there are so many different aspects to that. There's just too many variables for that. What the situation is, who you're dealing with, where you're at the time. You know, there's just so many variables to that, and what actually happened. Um, I guess I've learned one thing in these several years I've been dealing with this, and that is control what you can't, and um, and allow what you cannot. You know, there's just some things you can control, and that is ourselves. We have the ability to control, and only one person in this fight, and that is me.
Mm-hmm.
And I can control my mouth, I can control my emotions, I can react, I cannot react, but that's really who I'm responsible for. And once people learn that, hey, that's who I'm really responsible for in this situation. I think I made most of my mistakes by trying to um, control her by um, when she would go in rage, I would try to um, I would grab her and try to hold her and keep her from hitting and keep her from breaking and I'll never forget one day I heard the voice say, "Leave her alone. Let her do what she do." And it saved me so much drama. It really did. I used to get bit, I used to get scratched, kicked, and when I once I learned to just allow her to go, allow her to kick, allow her to break, punch, cut, uh, you know, life got easier for me because um, I was able to control who I am and what I did. You know, I can always go and patch up a wall and fix a door and repair a window, but Yeah, I think that's what it is for me. Control.
That's kind of deep. Because a lot of times men don't want to open up, if they've been through. Um, they allow, I think I stated this earlier, sometimes, men allow their ego to get in the way and, instead of speaking up. And we need more men that'll speak up and say, hey, this is not okay. If she's hitting and kicking and spitting on you, that's abuse. Walking away can be like one of the most healthiest ways of communicating instead of retaliating in anger. Now,
Walking
is it a
walking away works sometimes, but a lot of times it doesn't work
mm-hmm,
because you'll get attacked from behind. I actually do not condone walking away. I've been attacked from behind so many times. I've seen so many men be attacked from behind, and it's even worse. The woman feels like you're rejecting her when you walk away, and I learned. So it's just best to just sit and be cool, you know.
that's deep, real deep. My next question, you kind of already you answered it, I was going to ask you to talk about a time, where but you went into it. So what to men you would say, just go through it, just bear with it. Um, but Shandy, what would you say to a woman if this is happening and his anger is exploding, is explosive, you know, what do you say?
If you're already in a situation where it's become volatile and you're unable to get away, is that what you're asking?
Yes.
That's a tough one for me to answer. Because again, I've never been in a physically abusive relationship. People talk about what they would do in those situations until you're in that situation. Because my first reaction would be, but the average woman is not going to beat a man. And it could make the situation worse, and honestly, that's an area I honestly wouldn't be able to or even try to begin to give an answer on, because what would you do? Your mind is racing at that moment. You're trying to save your life, save your kids' lives, whatever the case may be. I don't know what you would do in that situation, honestly.
So this is what I'm gonna say from the point of us being a survivor. If you notice a person lashing out a lot, it's abuse. They have abusive tendencies. If they cannot control their anger, those are signs there. So to our viewers, I'm gonna go over a couple of things. So if you notice these things happening, don't overlook those. Don't think that oh well, it's gonna get better. I just need. Don't take the blame. If they're anger and they can't control it, they're lashing out, and it may start verbally, but eventually it will lead to physical abuse. You don't deserve that. But those are signs to pay attention to. If you're in a heated situation, try to find a way to get out. Sometimes, and as Jean said, sometimes walking out don't stop the abuse.
Mm-mm.
Sometimes it makes the abuse worse because they know our system. They know what you would normally do, what you normally won't do. They know that when you come out of the house, to go to work, you make a laugh. Your life changes completely when you go through abuse, especially if you really want to get away. So I would say to anybody that's watching tonight, yes, I sound like a robot. Y'all let me know if it's better. But I'll say to anybody,
that's watching tonight, if you find yourself in a situation where the anger is escalating, those are red flag signs. Those are signs of abuse. So get yourself, start developing and, okay, hold on. They're saying I sound like a robot. How do I sound to you guys? Is
Like
it
a
better?
robot.
Oh gosh.
If you
Um,
would you allow me to finish up your and still add
yeah,
to it a
no
little bit?
problem.
Okay. Um, as for men, guys, I suggest um, if you find yourself in an abusive situation where she's punching, she's hitting, she's kicking, she's cursing, do what you do to calm the situation. Talk in a soft tone, sit, be quiet, and yes, baby, yes, baby. Hey, but when it's all over and things get better, go. Get your stuff and move on. Hit the door. Same for ladies. Um, I do not condone abuse of a man hitting a woman, nor do I condone abuse of a woman hitting a man. Find yourself in that situation, pacify it. When it's over, move on. When it's safe, get to stepping. Whether you have to leave after he's left, whether you have to leave after she's left, uh, whatever. But move on because it does not get better. I will repeat this. It will not get better.
Mm. Wow.
I promise you.
Good advice.
So, um, again, I this pandemic has put a lot of people in that space because of the being at home and uh, not to mention the number of men that have lost their jobs and probably don't feel worthy and not about that, not in good space about that. So I I I, I do understand the frustration. I do understand the disappointment. I do understand the value of self worth and how men feel worthy when they're working. And you hate for someone to feel less worthy, but again, people are like people are like a box of Rice Krispies. They'll snap, crackle, and pop. You know, and you just have to know who you're with. And if you're with somebody that will hurt you mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, even sexually, financially, hey, listen, there is better, but you'll never find better if you stay in an abusive situation. The only thing you're doing, if you have kids, if you have children, the only thing you're doing is teaching them how to deal with a situation. That
Right.
it's okay. If you're accepting it, then you're teaching them that it is okay to be abused. That's what we're teaching our children, that it is okay to be abused. And my sons watch me be abused to the point where they they do not tolerate. Um, their level of toleration is extremely low because of the abuse they saw me go through. Their level of toleration is extremely low. So let us not teach the next generation that this is okay.
Right.
Exactly. Let's break the generational curses. And that's important. And that's why it's important that we have like the forums like this, so we can spread awareness. We're reaching people all over the globe. And as I stated before, do I sound like a robot now, guys?
You sound great.
Okay. So as I stated before, we often talk about domestic violence, what it is, all the unhealthy. That's why I wanted to have the conversation where we could talk about the healthy relationships. A lot of people don't know what to look for when it comes to a healthy relationship. They think because I seen it in my neighborhood, I seen my grandmother, I seen my mother go through it, that those behaviors deemed to be normalized, but they're not, they shouldn't be. You know, if it's unhealthy, let's tell them, look, baby, that's unhealthy.
Yeah. I think a lot of people find themselves in unhappy or unhealthy relationships because they're afraid to start over.
Hmm.
And, again, it has a lot to do with your personality. I don't care what people think about me as far as, oh, you're starting this over or you got enough. Yeah, because the first one or the last one wasn't good. And you have to be willing to do what makes you happy. But again, it's going to always circle back to, if you have not learned yourself, if you have not gotten to a point where you are happy with yourself, you know what you will accept, what you will not,
Hmm.
um, you're always going to find yourself in an unhealthy relationship because you don't know yourself. And I think more people need to focus on um, loving themselves and being content with themselves. And I truly believe that the person that is meant for you will find you. Um, but don't be afraid to start over. Okay. There's no shame in it. People are going to talk whether you're doing good or whether you're doing bad. So, you need to do what you need to do to make sure you don't end up in a situation that you cannot get out of. Okay. And truth be told, it doesn't really take long for someone to flip the switch. That facade that most people put on in the beginning of a relationship, it doesn't last long. It doesn't last long at all. Just like the 90-day probationary period at your job. Most people flip the script after that on day 91. Okay. You got to pay attention. Okay.
And to be honest, you when you look at it within those 90 days, the signs are already there. We're just overlooking them. And as I stated earlier, as women, we feel like we're nurturers. Well, he's with me now. We're gonna make it better. I'm gonna make it better. No, he gotta want to make it better. And sometimes men be like, well, she's done been through so much, and I'm gonna show her what a real man is. This is how I'm gonna do this, because she's mine now, baby. Hurt people. If she haven't healed, if she's still broken, and Jody done told her up from the first relationship, it ain't nothing you can do until she's ready to get the healing that she needs. And as we stated before, you have to work on you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Anybody that goes through a form of abuse got to work on them.
I mean, women are nurturers by nature, but you don't nurture your children to coddle them for the rest of their lives. You nurture them so they can stand on their own 2 feet. And if I have to coddle someone for the rest of my life in order to be in a relationship, I don't want it.
Go ahead, Jean.
Unfortunately, some women would rather do that than be alone. I get it. I've been on both sides of the fence. I really do. Um, I know what it looks like to be afraid to start over at 50 years old. I get that. I really do. I know what it looks like to be afraid to try and do it again. Hey, I've been married 4 times now. I get that. I understand what it's like to be rejected, to be broken from the flow up. I get that, but I also know um, that I also know what love feels like. And I can't speak for everybody. I can only tell my own testimony. You know what I'm saying? So I know there's variables out there, and I know people are hurting, but I also know that um, God is a big factor in my life, and I'm not trying to preach or anything like that. But I, if it wasn't for that, I would have gave up. So I get that. I've been on every side of this mountain, and and there's nothing pretty about it, you know. And if you don't have hope, you'll let the mountain crush you. But I
Mhm.
do know this, that if you're not leaving that situation because you're afraid you won't find anybody, that's a very bad excuse. It's a very, very, very bad excuse, and it'll keep you from finding someone, you know. But I can't believe that God would make heaven and earth and mountains and rivers and animals, and then but he won't make me somebody for me. I can't believe that. I refuse to believe that. He's too intentional. So I'm sure there's somebody for me. So let me not occupy myself with somebody who's not for me, so that somebody who is for me can come around, you know. And
Definitely.
if I can say anything, I like to say that, you know, don't occupy yourself, your time, your money, your emotions, your efforts, your energy with somebody who doesn't love you. I don't care who you are. Don't do it.
But you
There
got to know what love is, though.
Love it.
You
Yeah,
got to know
that,
what love is, though. If they don't know,
there's somebody for everybody. You
but a
just
lot of times people think that um how can I say this? As we were stating, I think me and Shandy both came in at the same time, like, but everybody don't know what love is. They don't know how. Um, if you show them attention, they feel like that's love.
That's
So
because
they have to know the difference between attention and love. If a person is showing, and sometimes, I think we talked about it in the beginning. Like, if I'm away from my husband a couple of days, when I come home, I want to see my king. You know what I mean? But then if I walk out the door and I'm not even gone 2 minutes and he's calling, where you at? Probably downstairs in the car. What are you calling me for? You know, and if this is every time I get ready to go somewhere, those are signs and patterns that something's not right in this relationship. You know, sometimes we have to ask ourselves, is that love, or is that you're trying to track my every step? I mean, so that's why it's important that a person understand what love is and what it is not. Go ahead, Jean.
I like to say, you know, that's those things are changeable though. I have to admit, because of my brokenness, I was like that at first. But love, learning to love,
Mm,
whew,
I'm not
Lord,
like anymore. You know what I'm saying? Because of what I've been through and where I've been and how I've been through it.
mhm,
And when you love somebody, when you really love somebody, when they're the one,
mhm.
you're willing to learn,
Preach.
mhm,
to 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 give and to not, you know what I'm saying? You're
Oh my
willing,
right.
God.
because that's what love does. It makes you willing, you know, or it makes you controlling. There are people who love people so much that they got to control everything about them, but they love them and they're afraid to lose them. So I get that. I do get that. And it may start off that way, but if it continues that way, it can be dangerous. Now, my this marriage started off like that. But I love this. Woo! I love this. Look here. Boy, I go to the moon and back for this girl.
Yes.
And so I've had to learn that she loves me. And that was the hardest thing I ever had to learn in this marriage.
Hmm.
And when you're 50 years old, you either trust people or you don't. And I'll never forget, that was the lesson that either it actually was the straw that broke the camel's back. But um I'll just be transparent. I was actually we was actually going to break up about a year ago. And I was packing my stuff, and she was like, "Okay, you go ahead and go." And I was out, and because I felt like she didn't love me, and I wasn't sure, and I wanted to be sure, and rejection was my biggest issue.
Mm.
So on my way out the door, one of the kids came down and said, "Don't go. You've been a better dad to me than my own dad.
Mm.
Me and my mom, we can't make it. I don't want to try to make it without you. We need you to stay." And when he said that, the 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 spirit of rejection for the first time in my life, for the first time in my life, I felt it break,
Mm.
and I felt love. For the first time I'd ever felt that someone loved me, not because of what I had, what I could get, what I was willing to work for, but just for me. So that's why I want to encourage women. Uh, you can. Everybody's got luggage. Every man's got luggage. I don't care if he look like he got it together. Every man's got luggage. Can you be the woman to help him unpack? Every woman's got luggage, man. Every woman's got luggage. Are you the one to help her unpack? That's what's going to make the relationship. That's what's going. I tell you what, my girl can be gone a week. I don't have to. I don't even think twice. I don't have to call her. I don't work, and it's a first time for me. Even if she did cheat, I wouldn't. If God wouldn't tell me, I wouldn't know, because
Mm.
I know she loves me. I don't have to
Right.
go through her phone anymore. I don't, and my phone stays unlocked. I keep it that way. Go ahead. My kids can go through my phone at any given time because I want accountability too. And
Mm.
therefore, and I can use my wife's phone, and there's never a problem. I love that. But if you're not gonna be an example as a man, please do not ask the woman to do the same. And that's
Woo.
frustrating to me that you will go through her phone, check her phone, but she can't go through your phone, check your phone. You can go in her closet and look in, but she, what you looking for? It's foul. It's foul. It stinks, and it's destroying our black men, our black women. And I'm tired
If
of.
you got to do that, you don't need to be there.
You don't need
I,
to be there, but
I've never
that's
been that
the beginning.
person.
That's the
Mm.
beginning of a train wreck. It's the beginning of a train wreck.
And when you said that, Jean, I have a poem. It's called "Unpack My Bag,"
Talk to me.
and I'm just gonna read just the first a little bit of it. But it says, "I wanted to be healed, but my bag was packed and sealed, filled with hurt and lack of trust, blame, hatred, and disgust. So I began to unpack my bag. My bag needed to be unpacked. In order to take my life back, I unpacked the hurt and pain, helping me to feel sane. Unpack my bag. I unpacked the lack of trust. We all know that's a must. Can't eat, can't sleep with trust issues. No way this can continue. Help me unpack my bag, please. Trust issues kept me in fear, fear of betrayal, causing me many tears, fears of humiliation by my manipulator with his manipulations. It's getting lighter as I unpack my bag. Lack of trust, unpacked. Beginning to get everything intact. Bag still full of other stuff. Unpacking blame because I had enough. Unpack the bag of blame. I blamed you for everything in my life. The good, the bad, my decisions and strife. Even when things seemed good, our talks was often misunderstood.
Mm.
Nice, nice, nice,
Yeah.
nice.
So sometimes, basically what it was saying, sometimes we have to look in our own bag and we have to unpack those things in order to get the healing that we need. Our bag is full of so much stuff,
But a lot of times we'll see fault in everybody else, but we don't even hold ourselves accountable.
But also you can't unpack everything yourself.
Mm,
Need God.
mm,
He needs somebody to do it for you. He needs somebody that's going to listen to him, that will and I like, oh my gosh. So Beauty and the Beast, and you know the story. She could go throughout the whole house, but she couldn't go in that room. And God needs to bring somebody in your life that can go in that room and clean it up.
mm.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Yes.
But
The
you got to
house.
let them, though. You got to let them.
Yep.
Exactly.
Because what?
But
God is a gentleman, right? He's going to knock at the door. He's not going to bust it wide open, right? You got to
Exactly.
let him.
and that's the one that you love. When
Yes.
when they're led of God, they'll do it correctly, they'll do it with the
Mm,
love of God, they'll do it gently, they'll even ask you to come
Mhm.
help when it's of God. Everything else is a mess.
Right.
I'm
you
good.
said it.
You
Woo.
came in just in time because this got real deep.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Preach.
that's one of the things with me. Oftentimes I'm asked, can I speak? Can I tell my story? And I asked him, can I talk about Christ? Because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here.
Say that.
Um, if with losing my son through abuse, if it wasn't for God, I would have lost my mind. You
My God.
know, if it wasn't for God, I wouldn't be able to do anything that I do.
Mm,
I went through a lot.
mm.
And so sometimes people look at, oh, well, they don't know. They don't know what it takes. Each Tuesday that I do this, they don't know they just don't know what I go through.
Woo. My God.
But
My
I know that if it wasn't for God, I wouldn't be able to do any of this. I would probably be somewhere talking to myself, somewhere taking medications to manage day to day activities. But if
Jesus.
it wasn't for him,
Mm.
if it wasn't for him, I don't know what I would have done.
I already know. No, I don't know. Look. Woo. My God.
And that's why I think when God allowed me to change from breaking the silence to SWAT, survivors with a testimony, the Bible said that your testimony is your delight. So if I don't do nothing but help one, I done enough. But it ain't even me that done anything. It's him. He's done enough.
He done it all.
Amen.
And I give him glory every day. Um, and just keep him lifted up because without him, I'm nothing.
That's real talk.
And we talk about a healthy relationship, but I'm gonna tell anybody viewing, I don't not what you believe, that's you. But I'm gonna tell you something with what I believe. You want a healthy relationship? Get intimacy with God.
Well, that's a fact.
Yeah.
Seek him.
That's a fact.
You
Real
know,
quick.
go ahead, Jean.
Real quick. That was my turning point after my second wife decided to leave me. I remember getting my 45 and sitting on the edge of my bed, and I loaded the clip in the chamber, and I was gonna blow my head off.
Mm,
And when I stuck the gun up to my head, I heard this soft whisper, and it said that I would see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. And you talking about something that just put chills through my body. I was, man. And then right after I heard that voice, and I didn't even know that scripture, but right after I heard that voice, an old friend of mine walks into my bedroom door. I didn't even hear him walk in the house. I didn't hear him come in the house. I know he was in the house. I hadn't seen this joke in, I don't know how long, and he's in my bedroom asking me for the gun. I know there's a God. So I don't care who you are. I don't care what color you are, or what you are. If God ain't God in your life, then that's the first love. That's the first. You want to know what love is? That's love. You want to know what love is? That's love.
Yeah.
He is love. He's the real deal. He's the real deal. And he's able to lead or bring someone to you. He's able. He's able to do exceeding abundant above all we could ask. I never dreamed in my wild. Listen, I watched my mama abuse my daddy, and I love my mama. I watched her. I watched my daddy remarry, and I watched his wife abuse him. I remarried. I got married. My first wife did not abuse me. Me and her never had a fallout. Now, we may have argued once or twice, but we never had a fallout. But someone raped her and killed her, took her away. So I remarried, and and that second wife was very, very, very abusive, and I lost my two daughters because of it. And the third one, her children were blessed them anyway. And so when I met this fourth one, because I never thought I'd marry again, really, I was done. But when I met this fourth one, she showed me love in ways I didn't even know was imaginable. And it had nothing to do with sex. It was just the thoughtfulness and the kindness and the gentleness and
Mhm.
whatever I would be working on, she would help me do those things. And she would call me in the morning and say, "Good morning, King. How are you this morning?" I mean, she just built me up. She blessed me. She touched wounds that I didn't even know I had, that I thought was healed. She 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 does not she allowed me to grieve my very first wife. She actually helped me. Can you believe that?
Mm.
And she loves my children, all of them, from the first one to the last one. Every morning she wakes up and prays for them. That's love.
Mhm.
That's
Mhm.
what I'm talking. That's love. And so when you're with somebody who really loves you, they do things that are God like things.
Yes.
Mhm.
And it makes you. This woman here has made me. I have left my wife's presence only to go into the presence of the Lord. That has
Mm.
never happened to me before. There are times I leave her presence crying and telling God how I thank you. There are
Mhm.
times I worship on my piano and my wife will come and sit alongside me and we worship together. And I tell God, God, I can't tell you thank you enough. That's love. That's whew, y'all. I'll mess around and cry on this show. Look here,
You
and I,
got me in
and I ain't,
tears.
Yes, that's
and
good.
I ain't weak for it either. I'll cry because I know what love is, and I'm not ashamed of it anymore. Real love, oh my, that's worth having. It's worth living for.
Yes.
I know why Christ died, because he was loved by a
Mhm.
loving God.
Mm.
Man, I'm good.
That's it right there. That's it.
You brought it home.
Yes, it
You got
did.
me
Yes,
in
it
here about
did.
to cry.
That's the end of it.
Yeah,
Look, I want to meet her. I want to meet the wife.
that's right.
She is amazing.
She
I
sounds like it.
never
Yeah.
met a woman like her before.
Mm. Woo.
I don't care what idea I have, she comes up with a business plan. I not tell her what God says to me. She helps me to make it happen. Women are so strong. Women are stronger than men. Women are stronger than men. That's why God asked y'all to help us, because we can't do it
Help
without
me.
you. We can build a rocket, but we can't make it go to the moon. Y'all can. Y'all can help a man go to the moon. And that's what my wife is to me. I give her a destination and she'll help me get there. She's an amazing woman. And the Bible says that a prudent woman is from the Lord. A prudent woman is from the Lord. Anything less than that, guys, I wouldn't take it. Now that I know what I know, you can't give me gold. You can't give me gold. I know what gold looks like. You can't give me once you know what love is and what love looks like, all counterfeits are off to the side.
That's right.
And that's the problem with men and women. We don't know what love is. And that's why we keep falling for the counterfeit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because a lot of people actually run from the real love because that one requires more work. It requires you to fix you.
And if you ain't willing to work, you don't need love. Go on back
Right.
over with the rest of them. Because hey,
Was
listen,
that the missus saying hi?
Yeah. Hey, baby. Yeah, she's up here. So
Yes.
listen. So guys, he got me in tears. And speechless. But a healthy relationship is what he described in a nutshell.
Period.
Women, how did you say? Period. Women, listen, we about to give Miss Mason some a job. Listen, if you don't know what it is, you don't know how to love. Go find Miss Mason.
Call me.
Call G.
Call me.
Men, if y'all need to learn, call G. The
Yes.
women gonna have to call Miss Mason because she gonna teach y'all something. Done taught me something up here about the crowd.
Right. Look.
I'm like, I don't like if I don't have my glasses on, so I can't hide
No,
it.
but that's how every woman, every wife should want their husband to see them and to talk about them and to that's deep.
Listen, I'm 54 years old and I do not look my age. Nobody, my kids don't even, my children compliment my looks. My wife does that. She does my beard. She does my hair. She does my nails. She does my feet. Why wouldn't I do for her? Why? Who wouldn't do for y'all? Listen. I'm woo-hoo. Look, all I know is this. I cannot love God and not love her. I cannot love her and not love God because they're one and the same. She is a woman of God. You know, she's not throwing the word at me. She's not beating me up with anything. And it's not uncommon for her to go in prayer or how to deal with something that I'm dealing with, or how to approach me about something. And I love that about her. She'll come and tell me later, yes, baby. I walk in the house and my favorite meal is cooked and I'm like, girl, what them got into you? Yeah, baby, come sit down. You know, the Lord told me how to do this, how to fix this, and so I can talk to you about this. And it's just perfect. It's like, yeah, that was a hurting situation, but she already calmed me before the situation was brought to me. And oh my God, it. Oh my, wait. One, I lost a job. I'll never forget this. I lost a job. I called her and told her. I said, baby, they let me go. And and at this time we just got married, and I was still dealing with rejection. When I got home, she had notes on the door as soon as you walk in. on the bedroom door and in the bathroom and on the bed. And they said, you know, baby, we are glad you made it home. We love you. We're not here, but please follow the signs. And I go to the bedroom. And I went to the bedroom and I got in there and there was a note on the bed that said, please take your shoes and your clothes off and just relax. We'll be home shortly. We love you. We're going to be fixing you a meal. Please go to the bathroom from here. And I went to the bathroom. And there was a note in there that said, baby, we love you. You are the best provider. We thank God for you. God has given you us, and God has given us you. And your bath water is ready. The bubble bath and the candles was lit. My clothes, my underwear, my shirts was there. Y'all, all I could do was cry. All I could do was cry because one, I felt the presence of God. That has never happened to me before. I know what God's presence is, and I felt his presence. I felt his presence in a bathtub. Where does that happen? But she set the atmosphere for God. You know what I'm saying? It was just an atmosphere of worship in the whole house. And it took my mind off of my failure. And it put my mind in a mind of worship towards God. Y'all, I'm telling you, there is nothing I won't do for that girl. Nothing. And matter of fact, while I'm on it, uh, I'm an artist, and I just released my very first CD, Turn Right at the Moon. My wife helped me do it. She helped me write the song. She helped me take the pictures. She helped me record. She helped me do all of it. All of it. And that's that. And I told her, I said, baby, I believe God is asking me to record a song or so, and maybe do a CD. My wife bought the instruments. My wife bought me my first computer. And teaching me how to use it. My what? Listen, is that God? I'm seeing God in this because other than that, I would have never been able to do it. But God needed somebody to help me do what He asked me to do. And I even dedicated a song to her called "She's a Rider." Listen, it is an amazing thing to get to know love. And one day I remember asking God when I turned 48, I said, God, I want to know what love is. I want to know what love is. I hear about it. I hear about you. I watch TV. They show me love scenes. I said, but I want to know what love is personally. I done been married 3 times now. I want to know what love is. And after that, God introduced me to love. So I just want to encourage everybody. And I hate talking about just the horrible things about relationship without talking about the grand things of relationship. If we can get the horrible things, there are grand things to be obtained in relationship. True. You know, and it's very contagious.
It is. And I'm Gene, to you, you seem, with our time difference, you might think that you're late, but God knows how to do things, and He done it the way that He did. So what you done when you came in and, told your testimony, told about the love of your wife and, the love that you guys, when me and Shandy was on earlier, we was talking about, the healthy versus the unhealthy. We talked about the communication, making sure that it's open communication. And when you came in and told your testimony, it tied in everything that we had talked about. Having an open communication, being able to express your feelings, being able to have that person support you, not put you down and pull away. Now I said, well, hey, you're not computer literate, so I don't think God is telling you to do that. You see what I'm saying? In a healthy relationship, what she done was she made sure you needed the tools, that you got the tools that you needed. She was there to support you. And that's what we need our people to see, as you stated. With our organization being about domestic violence, oftentimes we tell our testimonies, we tell like what we went through and how we overcome. But if I'm watching that all the time, and that's why I have the talks about a healthy versus an unhealthy, what does a toxic relationship look like? We have these talks because a lot of people don't know what a healthy relationship is. They just think, hey, I'm just going to mimic what they do across the street because it looked like he take care of her. It looks like, what it looked like on the outside, and they're content with that. He say he love her, but do his actions show? Do her actions show that they love each other? And as we stated before, a lot of people don't know what love is. I love what your wife posted. She said, God loves us past our pain. He loves us to health, healing, and wholeness. God love is genuine and beautiful, and that's true. As I tell you guys, as I was telling you guys, I know if it wasn't for God and him working on me, I couldn't do anything that I do. I just like how you brought it all in to allow them to see, look, I've been through the hurt. I've been through the abuse, but look at what God blessed me with now.
Mm-hmm.
At 50.
How you stated, I wasn't healed, but God placed this woman in my life to help me heal my past hurts. It's important that we heal. A lot of people want to look good on the outside and look like you healthy, but toe slam up on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
That's unhealthy. And I just like the way he done it, because when I tell you, you just came in and, as if you had been on the show the whole time and just watched us. Because everything that we discussed, when you started to tell your testimony, I know it was nobody but God, because you tied in everything that we have talked about. You allowed them to know. You need support. You need just your spouse to support you. You need to support your spouse. You need to show them love. When they're down, don't put them down. Be there to lift them up. You went through everything that we had talked about. And I'm telling you, you have brought me to tears. But we need more men that's willing to stand up and say, look, I had past failures. I had past hurts. But look at what I'm doing. Look at my situation now.
Mm-hmm.
What you said.
Yeah.
And it's like, what I got out of your whole testimony is, listen, I've been hurt. But when God intervened, we done this thing together. I have love. I have somebody that's going to push me into my dreams, going to push me into my purpose. They're not going to put me down, but they're going to be there. But the most important thing that you said is, before you do it, she pray about it. So God is leading her on what to do and how. See, communication is the key.
And we as men gotta be led how to do the same thing for our wives. We gotta go to God, guys. If you want a great relationship, go to God. Ask God, God, how do I deal with this?
I'm telling you, this was powerful.
Nobody wants. Got to.
So that's why I say to anybody, If I can't talk about God, I can't be on your show. See you.
I know that's right.
So
I know
because I know
that's
who's the
right.
head of my life, I know who leads and guide me. I know who healed me. And I want to put this out there because a lot of people say, "Oh well, if God healed you, why you still going to see a therapist?" That's why He made things available. That's why He put people here with knowledge. I go see my therapist. We have a great relationship. But I
But you're not
God
also
trying
go
to
to my
substitute.
father.
You're not trying to substitute your therapist for
Right.
God.
I also go to my father. I do that faithfully.
but God uses people.
Exactly. Because let me tell you something, my therapist, guys, I had went to several therapists. And a lot of times when you go to a therapist, they want to send you to a counselor to do medication management. So, when you're telling them that you're going through. So I will go, I'll be like, oh, this ain't for me. I ain't going back. They didn't push me, they didn't care. Well, when you're ready to discuss what's going on, I'm sitting right here. But this therapist that I got, let me tell you what she said to me. I remember walking in and I'm short. I'm like 5'2". And I don't think this lady is over 4'8". She might not even be that tall. So I go in and I have this attitude like this is just another waste of my copay, waste of my money. And I go in and I'm not saying anything. So she's talking to me and she said, listen, in order for you to get the help and the healing that you need, I'm going to be here. Whether you talk to me or not, I'm going to get paid. She said, so listen, you need help, you need healing. And in order for you to get what you need, we're going to work together. This was the first lady that never really treated me like a number and pushed me out the door. And so now when she comes on and she do watches some of my broadcasts or whatever, um, she could see the difference. Not even that, guys. Like it's been a difference, like even in my marriage now, because my husband always say, listen, when you talking about the abuse, let them know that was that past marriage, not
Right.
this one. Let's clarify that.
Right.
Um, but my husband is supportive. He's not a man of many words, but he's supportive. And like the glow, like since God has changed the name of my organization, and it's like things that
Is that
he's paying attention. And so he's
and
like,
so
well, maybe you need to do this. And he's giving that advice. So I know, Gene, how it feels to have somebody truly be involved in what you're in. So I'll say to anybody, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. I'll say to anybody viewing, if you don't understand or you don't know what a healthy relationship is, we're going to let Gene tell you.
Yes.
Well, listen. As far as if I was to sum it up, what a healthy relationship is, it would first be God. You know when somebody loves you when they're willing to make changes.
Mm-hmm.
God, His Son, He sent a sacrifice. He made a sacrifice to obtain a relationship with us. So when you are in relationship with someone who loves you, they make sacrifices. If you love them, you make sacrifices, you know, um, and not each other. you
Right.
you make
Right.
Right.
you and it doesn't cost you your life to, you know, I'll split this last cookie with you. It doesn't cost you your life to not go and sleep with somebody else. You know, when you love someone, somebody, you're willing to go the 1 through 100 mile with them. Even when you disagree, when me and my wife disagree, because we disagree, it's not uncommon for her to come and put her hand on my leg or kiss me anyway. It's not
Mhm.
uncommon for me to wrap my arm around her and just lay there and hold her.
Mhm.
But anything apart from love, listen, God is love. And when your life uh, uh, is categorized as a life of love, it will mimic the God you serve. Apart from that, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm just totally against it. If she's not willing to make any changes and you're making all the changes, that's not love. If he's not willing, no, that's just me. You just got to accept me the way I am. That's not the
Mm.
one. Keep it pushing, sister. I got 7 boys and 5 daughters. So I'm both ways. I'll tell my daughters if he's not willing to make changes, and if you're not willing to make changes, keep it pushing. Yeah, that's not the one. I tell my sons, son, if she's not willing to help you, and if she's not willing to make some changes to accommodate you, and if you're not willing to make changes to accommodate her, she's not the one. Just keep it moving. Don't hurt her. Don't
Mm.
wound her. That way, she has to go through life wounded. Don't do that. Don't do
Mhm.
that because that comes back on you. You'll reap what you
Mhm.
sow. Don't say anything. The other day, this girl broke up with my son, and it hurt him. It was his first breakup, and he handled it so well. I almost cried. And I think that's what we are responsible for ourselves and how we react. You know, and I think you ladies represent that. And I'm really really glad that you're on here, and I really thank God for you because you ladies don't come across as women of uh, this is how I do it. I'm all
Mm-mm.
about the money. I'm all about the Franklins and this and we need more women like y'all. We really do because we got hurting men out there that need help. They can't
Mhm.
do it on their own, you know. And we got hurting women that need help, you know, and they need a man that can help them. So I thank you. I thank God for this opportunity. I thank God for being on the show. I really appreciate you. And love starts with God, and it ends with God. Amen to that.
Amen.
Yes.
Shandy, is there anything that you want to say to our viewers?
Um, yeah. Again, I just want to tell the viewers, start with yourself. Learn to find out who you are. Love yourself, like you said, love God, get to know God for yourself, and stop trying to keep up with the Joneses. You don't have to be in a relationship because people tell you you need to be in a relationship. It's okay to be by yourself.
Mm.
Um, you know, do you, as they say. And just know that true love, in my opinion, is going to require you to do more for that person um, than you do for yourself. I've always told my husband that, I want more for him than I want for myself. I love him and I want to take care of him. And I know and I can trust that he's going to do the same in return for me. Um, so I just want everyone to know that, first of all, marriage isn't for everybody. It is work. Okay. And, it's not something to jump into lightly. Relationships aren't required. Um, just do what makes you happy and not what people are telling you need to do.
So, on behalf of SWAT, I want to say thank you, Jean. Thank you, Shandy, for joining in, to help us educate our viewers on healthy relationship versus unhealthy relationships. It's important that they understand because we don't want them in situations like myself, to to be a survivor. We want them to be able to look at the signs and say, hey, I heard it on SWAT. This don't look good. Let me get out of this. But I will say to anybody that's going through a domestic violence situation, If you need help developing a safety plan, our information is scrolling at the bottom of this, at the bottom of the broadcast. Our website, our emergency line, our email, whatever it is that we can do to help you to develop your safety plan, reach out to us. That's what we're here for. We're not just here just to do the round tables, but we're here to actually help. It's called SWAT, Survivors with a Testimony. If you need to find us on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube, type in SWAT Inc. 2020 and you're going to find us. So we're here. Anything that we can do to help you, let's do it. To start your safety plan, make sure you go ahead and get your documents together. If you're in an unhealthy situation, if you're in an abusive relationship, go ahead and get your documents. If you have children, get their important documents. Get those things together. Put them in a safe place. So if you have to escape, you'll have that information. Go ahead and start packing clothes, taking them to a friend's house until that night or that day comes that you're able to get away. But nevertheless, if you need more information on developing that safety plan, reach out to us. That's what we're here for. I want to say to the viewers, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you for those who are sharing. Come back next Tuesday. We'll have another show spreading awareness on domestic violence. But I want to say thank you for watching. And again, our information is scrolling along the bottom. Thank you, Jean. Thank you, Shandy. Anything that SWAT can do, just let us know. We'll be right there for you. Yes, Jean.
No, I was just saying you're welcome.
Thank you, Vernita.
And you're welcome, Jean. Where can we get? When would your CD be released?
Oh, it's on Spotify. It's on. You can just Google Jean A. Mason and turn right at the moon, and it'll come up. Matter of fact, you can go to Reverb Nation and download it for free. It's not about the money for me. It's about getting the sound out there. It's on iTunes, iHeart, all of those, SoundCloud, all of it.
Awesome.
Congratulations again.
Congratulations. We're so proud of you. And again, guys, so he's giving you guys the information. It's good. You've seen the comments from his wife. You see how he loves his wife, how she loves him. So let's support. Thank you guys so much. You guys be blessed and have an awesome night.
Have a good night.
Good night.